What's up, everybody? It is the House of Agendas podcast, back with our official MegaSODE. We are bringing everything at you today. We've got football, we've got basketball, a little bit of news. Kenzie, how are you feeling today about our big episode?
Honestly, bro, it feels great. NFL in the swing of things, NBA starting soon. It's going to be real good.
Right. So we are totally getting into the swing of things. We are already heading into week 4 of the NFL season. NBA preseason is starting this Friday. A lot of good stuff going on for sports fans. Anything you want to touch on before we get started?
NBA media day is always fun just to see like the players. Everybody has their high hopes.
Yeah.
Then people can turn like a whole segment out of like 2 sentences a player says. So that's always interesting. NFL basically like a month in, so we're starting to see how teams are rounding out, but it's still early, so it's just a lot of agendas being pushed, but we still got to see how things play out.
I mean, and you got to think September is already over.
Mm-hmm.
Next Sunday, I mean, obviously we got a game on Thursday, but Sunday we are in October. We're getting to that spot where it starts to get cold for some teams.
Yep.
NBA is going to even pick up even more. A lot going on. We're excited as hell to bring it to you guys. I just wanted to touch on, before we got started, we did start a House of Agendas Madden League on PlayStation 5. If anybody wants to join, send us a message, DM us on either of our accounts on the House of Agendas account. We'll play with anybody. Kenzie just kicked my butt earlier. He's laughing about it right now. Kicked my butt. So I just wanted to say we started one of those. If anybody wants to join, go ahead and join us. We'll let anybody play. So just want to touch on that real quick. Let's jump right into it, Kenzie. Who is the best team in the NFL right now?
As crazy as it sounds, and they would not have been in my top 5, not even top 10 picks in the preseason. It's the Eagles, man. Like, they are wilding out, like, between the offense, and it's not just like they're just outscoring you low. They're locking up. Besides the Lions game, they've been playing some great defense. They locked the Vikings up. They embarrassed the Commanders. I think what they had, like, almost 10 sacks.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, like literally insane. So it has to be the Eagles right now.
So I honestly thought you were going to go with the Dolphins, but you know what? I still believe the Bills are the NFL's best team. I am impressed that the Dolphins beat them. I think that'll reflect in our power rankings based on resume.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe the Bills are the best team. I think if you look at it, their defense is number 1 in yards per game, yards per play, and they were missing 6 players, 6 starters. Yeah. Their whole secondary's out. They were still able to lock down not lock down, but they held back Tua and the 2 receivers. Waddle had 100, I think, and Hill did not have a great game.
Yeah, Hill had a great night.
But you got to look. I mean, they're still outscoring teams 93-36.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible ratio. They're number 3 in points per game themselves. I think more than anything, bad time management cost them that game.
Yeah.
The Heat and bad time management. They play the Dolphins again in Buffalo. I think that's going to be an ass kicking. I really think Buffalo is going to put it on them in Buffalo. So I'm going to stick with the Bills as my top team. I do have a little shakeup in my power rankings that's coming a little bit later.
Right.
But I'm going to ride with the Bills still. I still believe in Josh Allen. Good win for the Dolphins. That's a resume building win.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe, from what I've seen, the Bills have a little bit better of a roster still and a better team.
Right.
So it's close. Hurts has having a really good year.
Yeah, huge jump.
And the thing that has impressed me also is he doesn't look like he's panicking. Mm-mm. He's he can still run, he can still do all that, but he's willing to take some more time in the pocket before he gets out and goes. Which I think is showing a little bit more of a maturation for him. So just going to ride with the Bills for a little bit longer. Honestly, anything can happen. Could be a big shakeup this next week. We got some important games we're going to touch on in a little bit.
Right.
Jump into it. Player of the week.
He didn't get it last week because he lost, but this week he bounced back. I'm going with Lamar. He had another 300 plus yard passing and 100-yard rushing game. I think I saw
Crazy.
some stat like
Crazy.
he himself is like has more yards than certain teams.
Yeah.
Literally insane. So yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with him this week. He's just insane. I think he has like 12 or 13 total touchdowns on the year.
Yeah. I mean, just to piggyback off what you said, he had ended with 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 rushing. He didn't have a crazy yards game, but he did have 107 yards rushing on only 11 attempts. Just he's unstoppable right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to. I mean, he just,
Yeah, so
if we were doing a September MVP, a month of September MVP, I think Lamar would be the MVP based on his numbers. I just also wanted to, because I figured you were taking Lamar. Obviously, I thought I just wanted to give Jalen Hurts a shout out. 22 of 35, 340 yards passing, and 3 TDs. Only needed 20 yards on the ground, and they dominated that game. So I just wanted to go give him a little notoriety because that man played his ass off also. So
yeah, I did
very
not
impressed.
expect this passing to become this good this fast.
Yeah. Yep. So I just thought give him a little shout. Any other players stick out to you this week? I know Lamar had the upper echelon of games, but at the same time, anybody else stick out to you? I wanted to shout out my guy on Thursday, Nick Chubb, leading the league in rushing with 341 rushing yards. He's tied for the lead in touchdowns with 4. So just wanted to give him a quick shout because without Watson, he's carrying the load, and that's what the team needs. So just wanted to give him a quick shout. Didn't overshadow Lamar, but just a really solid game from him against still a decent Steelers defense.
Like for somebody who didn't have an amazing week, but like they're getting it going, I would have to say Christian McCaffrey. He had I think he has 16 carries for like 107 yards, so he's starting to get going, and that's honestly the only way the Panthers are going to win because I never was too high on Baker, but like he'd be finishing with like sub 170 yards.
Yeah, he's just it's crazy because DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, he's got talented receivers. Christian McCaffrey's a talented receiver. Their tight end, he can get he can open up the middle of the field and he can go. So maybe they're not opening up the offense for Baker, which I could understand as being a Browns fan and watching him play for so long. But you got talented guys. I think you got to start opening it up a little bit.
The Panthers have weapons on both sides. It just doesn't work.
I thought they looked pretty solid against the Saints. The Saints themselves have some injuries and some trouble.
Yeah.
I think Jameis, things don't turn around. Taysom Hill's going to be taking a lot more snaps. They're going to be drafting a quarterback this year, it looks like. I mean, they feel like they're a quarterback away, and I like Jameis. I've eaten a couple W's in my day, but that man just doesn't get it done consistently enough for a team that has higher aspirations than just finishing second behind the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's just so inconsistent. Like he's good. It's just
but here's the thing is he's not even trading touchdowns for interceptions anymore. It's just like dink and dunk and punt. Like at least when he was throwing interceptions and touchdowns, they were scoring and like it was entertaining. It just feels like a completely different guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to touch on a couple guys real quick that I thought had good weeks also. I think we're gonna have the same trend. Best win and the worst loss of the week.
Ooh, that's the worst loss. Although I guess like you can kind of excuse the injuries, the Chargers to get smoked like that. Or maybe I'm just underrating the Jaguars. I don't know. It might be a mix of both, but yeah. Also something that factors into it being a bad loss is they were down like 20 plus and Herbert was still out there. Like, what are you doing?
Oh God.
Yeah, so a mix between them keeping Herbert out there while they're getting blown out and in general getting blown out. I think that's the worst loss.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you look at yourself in the mirror as a coach? You've got somebody who's uber talented, like Justin Herbert. He's already got injuries. He's got ribs injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You're down 28 with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And I get NFL's a tough guy sport. You want to be out there. You want to show the guys you're tough. But you also want to play for 10 more years.
Yeah.
You also want to, they're missing Rashawn Slater, the one of the best left tackles in the league. They're missing key guys who are not going to help. Justin Herbert's out there by himself practically at this point. Eckler's been terrible. Every metric he's at the very bottom corner of all the metrics. They're just not doing what it takes to protect a guy. This feels very Andrew Luckish.
Yeah.
And that sucks because, they have so much talent, but if you can't bring it all together, what's the point? I thought the Chargers were going to be much better. Obviously, injuries have slowed them down. That was a bad loss. I think the Jaguars are probably better than we're giving them credit for at the moment.
Yeah.
But my worst loss was, I believe the Chiefs had the worst loss. We talked about the Colts pretty much the last 2 weeks in a negative manner.
Yeah.
We've not been impressed by them. For them to come out and beat the Chiefs is not a good indication for the Chiefs at the moment. I know people want to harp on
special
fine
teams.
Yeah, I mean, special teams, but they're missing explosive plays.
Yeah.
They're not as explosive. It's easier to guard Travis Kelce at this point. He's still a monster. Patrick Mahomes can't lead you in rushing with 26 yards in the NFL. Like, I get running's less important, but your quarterback can't have 26 yards and lead your team unless it's Lamar, and he's not Lamar. So I also thought they lost to the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor didn't explode. He had 75 yards.
Yeah, that was just it was just one of those ugly bad losses.
It was terrible. It was just bad. I was not impressed. Mahomes, that last interception, he just whipped it around the corner, and Juju wasn't even ready for the ball. I mean, I get you're trying to hurry up, but some of his lackadaisical throws are coming back to bite him now that they're less talented.
Mm-hmm. And
so,
and speaking of Juju, he's just been like a huge disappointment for them. Like, he was supposed to be like that intermediate short route guy, but he's just not doing anything.
Yeah, he had that 1 year in Pittsburgh, and it's not been the same since. So, and he also had like a crazy amount of targets that year. It was like they were force feeding him. So I'm just wondering if maybe, it takes 160 targets for him to be effective.
Right.
Which you can't do. I mean, it's crazy to do. You're not Cooper Kupp, man. We can't force feed you the ball like that. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that because as the Chiefs, you can't lose to the Colts like that. Matt Ryan can't beat you.
Yeah. And in the Chiefs' defense, as you know, that's my Super Bowl pick, so I have to, do some damage control. In their defense, that was kind of a must-win for the Colts. If you fall to 0-2 in a tie, that's awful. So they were kind of playing with their back against the wall. And like we said, it was just like, yes, the Chiefs should have played better and should have won, but I think they had like a fake field goal mess up, a missed point after, a missed field goal, muffed a punt. So it was just like a bunch of things. But yeah, they still.
Yeah. But if you're gonna be a Super Bowl team, and I'm right there, I think the Chiefs are on course. That's stuff you got to clean up.
Yeah.
I understand it's week 3. That's a week 3 loss that in 7 weeks we could never even talk about again. But I just don't like the way Mahomes gets lazy with the ball sometimes. He's done it a lot recently. I don't think it's just like a me thing. I think people see it. I think he's been lazy with the ball from time to time.
Honestly, like, I'm like a huge
that's what I'm saying is you being a Mahomes guy, you have to see it yourself.
Yeah, like
he's getting bailed out. It happened against the Chargers too.
Yeah,
they just dropped him instead of the Colts catching them.
Yeah, like week 2 versus the Chargers, they were like some throws. I was like, oh my god, I hope like when the camera pans down, there's not a Charger over there because I don't know what he was thinking.
So I don't know if what's going on, and him and Eric Bieniemy are getting into it, walking off the field. Mahomes is the one who threw a poor pass to Juju to get the interception to lose the game. I don't know what we didn't get the dialogue of the conversation, but it looked like
I think the Bieniemy thing wasn't because of the pick. That was going into halftime. Like Mahomes was like, "Yo, bro, let me go score," and I guess conservative.
The way it was chopped, it looked like it was the end of the game. I only got to watch the end of the game, and it chopped in that scene of them going back and forth after the loss. So it was kind of a weird. I caught it at the tail end.
Yeah.
So if that was at halftime, that's a different story then.
Yeah.
It just the way it was being reported, it was like they were. Yeah. The way it was being reported, it was like a riff between them, you know. But that's the media. That's a spin.
Yeah.
I just expect more from the Chiefs at this point. Mm-hmm. You know, you got people like you telling me they're going to win 13 games.
Yeah. 13. 11 is the floor. 11 is the floor.
They're lucky that their division's pretty down right now.
Yeah,
they're lucky.
Yeah, that's
the Broncos are 2-1. That team looks like they should be 0-3.
That division. I'm still giving it time, but compared to what everybody thought, this is bad.
Okay, going off of that, who was your best win then, and on the flip side?
This one is like more so like for a longevity standpoint. Would be the Dolphins because it moves them to 2-0 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like the best win by like they embarrassed the Bills or anything. It was just that now even if they get smoked in Buffalo, it's still tied. They're most likely going to sweep the Patriots and the Jets. So at worst case scenario, to be like 4-2 in the division, and that can help come in the season.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only reason I'm going best win for them, just because like in a long haul.
I like that. I like that pick, and I like the reasoning because that's a deeper layer. The Dolphins have bigger aspirations than just, the regular season. So I do like where your head's at on that one. I'm going to make a homer pick here because I thought it was very important. I'm going to give the best win to Cleveland. And the reasons are Pittsburgh's kicked our ass for a long time. Now we did get that win in the playoffs a couple years back now. But the circumstances of the way we lost to the Jets, that could have folded the team pretty much.
Right.
And bouncing back, playing decent to solid football for 60 minutes, I thought that was a really important win because that Jets game could have tore the season apart. We could have just went on a massive slide, and just wanted to say, I mentioned Chubb a little bit earlier. Jacoby Brissett, for everything that people say about him, the guy is tough. He doesn't go down. He doesn't make mistakes. I understand against the Jets, there was 12 seconds left. He's trying to make a play. The game was pretty much over.
You really can't.
Yeah. So that besides one mistake in a game that was pretty much over, he's played really, really good football. Him and Amari Cooper have gotten into quite a rhythm together. Amari Cooper in the past 2 games has gone over for 100 and a touchdown each of the last 2 games. I don't see the Falcons slowing them down per se. I think it's going to be a tight game with the news of Myles Garrett's wreck and his status up in the air for Sunday. Anything could happen in Atlanta, but I just wanted to say that bounce back win against the Steelers after a really demoralizing loss against the Jets. I thought that was very impressive for a team that is playing without their star quarterback.
Right.
So just wanted to shout out Jacoby Brissett and Amari Cooper and the team for that bounce back win. And hopefully Myles Garrett's okay. They said no broken bones. He was released from the hospital. It's just, a big man in a Porsche, and the Porsche rolls over, you think the worst. So just wanted to say, glad he's all right, and hopefully he can bounce back and be healthy the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That brings our rankings. Let's see. Last week we had it. Let me get your power rankings so we know where we're starting. I had it as last week. I had Buffalo, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Eagles, and the Dolphins. Where do you have your 5 at now?
Now, number 5, even it's like it's nasty because like the way they won. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Yep, I like
E-
that.
I They had a chance to break the game open, but that Aaron Jones fumble at like 2. It seems like once that happened, their entire offense just went in a shell. But they did play good defense. Now, granted, Tampa like was thrown to like a bunch of third and fourth stringers,
Mm-hmm.
but they still played good defense. Besides that last possession, like when they just decided to go and prevent and got carved up. But yeah, that's why I got number 5. Number 4, bad loss, bad special teams loss. But I can't kick the Chiefs out the top 5 yet. It took
Okay.
it took a lot for them to lose like in the last 20 seconds of the game, and then like it was still like a desperate Colts team that I still have faith in. Like preseason, I had the Colts at like 11 wins. That right now would be pretty hard to get to,
Yeah.
but I still think they're good. So it's not like I think they lost to a bad team.
Okay.
Third, I got the Ravens.
All right.
Besides,
Baltimore.
yeah, besides the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, you could argue like they've been playing like the best football out of any team besides like the Eagles, who I have higher up, obviously. So yeah, I would have the Ravens there. Dolphins I would have just because not only are they undefeated, it was like a good win.
Dolphins at 2.
Yeah, Dolphins at 2,
Okay.
mostly because they came back on the Ravens. And granted, I don't think that could happen consistently. That was like a freak quarter, and then even though the Bills, they were down on like some defensive players, they still played good defense on the Bills to hold them below 20.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I have them there. And first, the Eagles. Like I said, that is just steamrolling people on both sides of the football. So yeah, I
Okay.
would have Eagles 1, Dolphins 2, Ravens 3, Chiefs 4, Packers 5.
Eagles, Dolphins. Who'd you have at 3?
Ravens,
Ravens. Yep. And then
Chiefs, Packers.
Chiefs, Packers. Okay. Chiefs, Packers. And all right. So starting at my 5, this team's in my power rankings for the first time officially. I have Baltimore at 5, 2-1. I just want to start off by saying Lamar. Brinks truck, pay that guy his money.
They messed up. They should have got it
What
done.
is Baltimore doing? What are they doing? The price is going up astronomically every week.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna make $300 million. I don't know what else is gonna happen. 5 touchdowns for Lamar. The only thing I can say about the Baltimore right now is their secondary is not very good.
Yeah, because they gave up
They're,
like
they're just
almost 30 to the Patriots.
they're just not. They can you can score on them. You can score on them. They're susceptible to big plays. Against the Patriots, it was closer than it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
They did pick off Mac Jones. They did make a couple plays to keep the game out of reach. Against a better team with better receivers, Devontae Parker went off on the Ravens.
Yeah.
Devontae Parker hasn't went off on anybody in 2 years. So that's the one hole I see right now with the Ravens is their defense isn't your typical Ravens, but their offense is better than the typical Ravens. So they're kind of playing in and out of who they are. They usually are, but very, very impressed with Lamar. Very, very impressed. At 4, I put Green Bay. They're also 2-1. I said RELAX, relax. Green Bay shows they can win in an ugly, ugly game against Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they had to do to win game, and I'm impressed with that. Rodgers outplayed Brady very slightly. That 2-point conversion play where that delay of game really cost Tampa Bay. That's on Brady. You're the quarterback. You got to make that happen. Again, I still think Tampa Bay is one of the better teams in the league, but you got to win that game. It is a Power 5, so And that game could, like you said earlier, when you were talking about a potential playoff importance game, stealing that game from Tampa Bay when you could be working on seeding and things,
Yeah.
very important. Rodgers mentioned that after the game, that could come back to help them quite a bit down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to mention that also. At 3, I still have the Bills in my top 5 at 2-1. Mentioned earlier that they are outscoring their opponents 93-36. They played against the best wide receiver duo in the league without their secondary and kept them in check for the most part. Nothing crazy happened. Better time management, I think they're 3-0. You know, that's on Josh Allen a little bit. That's on the offense. That's on their offense. They had 40 minutes of ball possession time compared to the 19 minutes of Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
it's
nuts.
a massive.
I don't even know how that happens.
It's insane. So I kept them at 3. I think they still deserve to be in that company. At 2, I had the Eagles at 2. Yes, they're 3-0. They were dominant in their last 2 games. Possibly one of the most complete football teams in the NFL. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right. Oh, yeah, man. I was debating on putting the Bills in my top 5. It's just, with a top 5, somebody has to be left out, and I just chose the Bills. But there's a lot of teams that was fighting for that 5th spot. The Packers was I don't know, because the end of that game. But yeah.
Yes, I heard what you're saying. So I still think the Bills are there. I still think they're there. The Eagles, they're dominant in their last 2 games. They're 3-0. They are the most complete offensive line and defensive line in the league right now.
Yeah.
I think Hurts with these weapons is extremely, extremely dangerous. They don't have a crazy tough schedule either. They could win 12 games, I think, and easily win that division. The Cowboys are not good. The Giants still have quarterback problems. Washington has quarterback problems still. I think the Eagles run away with that division pretty easily.
Yeah.
My number 1 this week is, because of their resume, is the Dolphins. 3-0. They've got the 2 best wins in the league right now.
Yep.
They won a game where they only had the ball for 19 minutes compared to a team that had 40. That's incredibly. It's hard to even fathom how that works out, and they won that game. So beating the Bills, beating the Ravens is the most impressive 2 wins. Like I said, I got the Dolphins holding tight at number 1. I just wanted to throw this in here just to give them a little bit of love. I'm going to shout out the Jacksonville Jaguars as my honorable mention this week. I don't think I'm all the way in on them yet, but one more week of impressive football, they could work their way in if somebody has a bad loss in the top 5. Their last 2 games have been blowout wins. One over the Chargers, who's a very talented team, injured but talented. I think they're deserving of a little notoriety is all.
Right.
That's going to take us into our.
Wait, actually,
go ahead.
In addition, to counteract your honorable mention, I'll have a get together in the Raiders 0-3. Are you kidding me?
So that's like a bottom 5 power ranking type thing.
I didn't have the Raiders winning the division, but 0-3, man.
0-3.
This bad. And yeah, get it together, man.
Is it worse to lose a close game or get blown out? Because they've lost 3 close games. Would you rather get blown out by 14 or lose by less than 3?
Normally, I would say less by 3, but it depends. The close game they lost to the Cardinals, embarrassing. At that point, I'd rather be blown out than blow a 22-0 lead.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you on that. I don't know. It's blowing a lead is different than I'm with you. We're gonna jump into Pick'em now. As of now, through our 2 weeks on the podcast, you are 14-18. I am 15-17. Currently, dear, I just clearly know more about the game. That's all. I mean, I think it's clear as day. I got the 1 game advantage. I'm gonna get the schedule. Let's get the schedule pulled up here.
I'm probably gonna get every game this week, right? Maybe one L.
Probably not. All right. First game of the week slate is Thursday night in Cincinnati. Dolphins and Bengals.
Ooh, that's a tough way to start the week because that's a very debatable game.
Yes, it is.
I'm rocking with the Dolphins. Yes, the Bengals, quote unquote, got on track, but our pass rush was just awful. Oh Lord, the Jets. So yeah,
you guys look like a totally different team.
Yeah, so the Bengals, not the Bengals, the Dolphins are obviously better than us, and it's not like we weren't able to move the ball. So like if we were able to go up and down the field sometimes, the Dolphins definitely can. So yeah, I'm rocking with the Dolphins.
Okay. That takes us down to Atlanta. Browns at Falcons.
I got the Browns.
You have the Browns. Okay.
Yeah, the Falcons, they haven't been as bad as I thought, even though like they're not really winning, but the Browns, I definitely got the Browns. I think they're the better team.
I also took the Browns in that one. I just don't think they've faced a team that can run the ball as well as we have. We can, and with us, our ability to mix in the pass, I think we'll be able to hold them off.
Yeah, and it's not outrageous to say y'all have the better quarterback, and you obviously have the better running back.
Yeah, just worried about the defense still. Kyle Pitts is really good. Drake London has a lot of potential. I just hope Marcus Mariota can hold them back. Going south, we got the Vikings in New Orleans in the London game. They're actually across the pond in London for this one. Who you got?
That's 9:30 in the morning. Vikings.
Yep, I got the Vikings also. I like I just told you a little bit. Jameis is just not. He's not even the touchdown and interception guy anymore. So I don't think they can hang with the Vikings offense.
Yeah.
Next, we've got the Commanders at the Cowboys.
I think the Cooper Rush run has to stop, and the Commanders come on off back-to-back bad losses. They can't lose 2 in a row in the division, so I got the Commanders.
I wanted to take the Commanders, but then you picked them, so I'm going to go with the Cowboys because I don't think the Washington offensive line is going to be able to slow down Micah Parsons at all.
Yeah.
They couldn't slow down the Jets. Not the Jets. The Eagles pass rush. Micah Parsons individually is just incredible. I'm going to go with the Cowboys in that one. Next, we've got the Seahawks visiting the Lions in Detroit.
I got the Lions. They've been like a frisky good. Like they haven't been a good team, but they've been they're going to get smoked. Oh, snap, that game is close type of good. So, yeah, I got the Lions winning that.
My only issue with the Lions this week is they're going to be missing DeAndre Swift. And he's really talented player. I'm going to side with the Lions also. Would not be surprised if Geno comes out and gets the win, though.
Right.
Next, we've got Titans at Colts in Indianapolis.
I think that win over the Chiefs finally gave the Colts some momentum. The Titans, they were pretty comfortably up on the Raiders the whole game, but it's going to be close. Like, they know each other, division game. I just think the Colts are better, so I'm going with the Colts.
All right. I'm going to Derrick Henry's not had a really big game yet. I think Derrick Henry is going to explode on Sunday for the first time this year. I got Derrick Henry going over $125 and a touchdown. I don't think he's just not done it yet. I think this is the week for him to get right. I'm going to go with a big game out of Derrick Henry and pick the Titans to get the win there. That takes us to the Bears visiting the Giants.
The Bears are the nastiest 2-1 team in like NFL history.
The Giants are right there in the same conversation, though.
I don't know if with Fields it's a lack of weapons, but he hasn't had a game where he completed 10 passes yet.
They win the game when he gets to 8 completions.
Yeah, like
That's all it takes for him. That's insane. It's an insane stat.
yeah, so that's a nasty 2-1. But I do think the Giants are more talented. I'm going with the Giants.
Okay. I'm going to side with you on that one because I just don't believe in the Bears offense. I think the Giants have a decent defense.
Mm-hmm.
They got gashed on a couple big plays by
Yeah.
Lamb and those guys, but I think they can do enough. And maybe Barkley broke through last week. It wasn't like a change the world type game, but he had that big run for the
Yeah.
touchdown. Maybe that propels him to keep going and make something else happen this week. I think our next game could be a possible game of the week type game. We got Jaguars at Eagles. Pretty important game for the Jaguars in terms of the measuring stick. Are you legit? It's an are you legit type game.
They've been impressive this year, but the Eagles, I don't see the Eagles losing this game. If their run stops with the Jaguars, I'll be very, very shocked.
Yeah, I wanted to pick an upset, but I got the Eagles winning. I think the combination of their offense and the defense is enough to slow down the Jags a little bit. I'm going to give the Eagles a slight edge. Let's see, what do we got next here? Next, in a battle that probably is going to have limited viewership, we've got Jets at Steelers.
Jets at Steelers. Well, Zachary Wilson might be back. Am I very excited? To be honest, I don't know. Like, I want him to be good, but I only saw a few flashes last year.
Mm-hmm.
But we just have to see him out there. We have to know early if he's the guy or not. Because with Darnold, I think we kept Darnold for like maybe 4, but I know for sure 3 years, and we just wasted our time. I don't want to do the same thing with Zach.
Yep.
So I just throw him out there. Let's see if it works. But we should win because the Steelers haven't won without Watt.
Right.
And as bad as our offense is, the Steelers' offense might be worse. So, yeah, like you said, it's going to be nobody's really tuning in except for the fans of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, I got the Jets.
Interesting history. I'm going to take the Steelers in a late field goal type scenario. I don't know why Joe Flacco couldn't play well against the Bengals like he did against the Browns, but it was whatever. Zach Wilson, we don't know. He's got a nice arm.
I don't like Hendrickson was like in our backfield the entire day, and like how did we just try harder for Miles Garrett than we did trade? I don't
know. That actually personally upsets me that you guys didn't play well. So I'm going to, in spite of you guys, take the Steelers just because of my hatred for you guys after week 2. Let's see. We've got going next Bills at Ravens in the game of the week.
This game.
I've already got your answer written down, but go ahead and explain why.
Well, for one, they have the better quarterback. That's one.
Anyway, it's been a fun podcast.
Look, man, we gotta rock with Marley Mar. But the thing that scares me is if, let's say, like the Ravens offense like hits like a 2-3 possession lull. I don't know how they're gonna stop the Bills because
that secondary is not good.
And a bad secondary versus like a hot Bills offense, with the exception of last week, it might get spooky. But hopefully it lives up to the billing. Hopefully it's like a 35-28 game between like two. Even though I understand like people having Allen above Lamar, that's still 2 top 5 quarterbacks and definitely like top 3 this year. So yeah, I'm hoping that game is good, but Ravens.
Because you lied and said that Lamar is better than Josh Allen at playing quarterback, I'm going to pick the Bills. Lamar has been fantastic. He is fantastic. I just think that Josh Allen is a little bit better. I think the Bills are as a whole are a little bit better. Close game. I hope it's like a 42-40 type game. I hope they're just running and gunning, both of those guys. I hope it's a great game.
And potential AFC Championship preview. Never know.
Right. Bills by less than a touchdown.
Right.
Next, we're going to get a game that potentially shouldn't be played by one of the players on the team. Chargers versus Texans in Texas.
The Chargers better win.
Yeah.
Or else slander will be flung around. I understand. I understand the injuries. I understand there's a few reasons that may explain some things, but the hype that Chargers got all off season, I don't. If they fall to 1-3, I don't care at that point. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, the Chargers, because they're better than the Texans. But if they lose, that hype better calm.
If the Chargers lose this week, I think next week will be a very interesting episode because the Herbert slander that's going to come out of you, even if he is hurt, could be interesting. I'm going to take the Chargers because they are better. Even when they're hurt, they're better than the Texans.
Yeah.
They just are. The Texans are playing for one of the two quarterbacks coming out in the draft. Chargers should win easily, in my opinion. In a game that I think is more interesting than it should be, Cardinals at Panthers. I think the Panthers defense, without Kyler having his receivers, I think they have they have the speed. I think they have the speed to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah. The thing is, like, both those teams are just so hot and cold. Like, there are some moments where, like, the Cardinals offense is like, all right, yeah, they might challenge the Rams for the division. Then there's other times you're like, yeah, if they don't have D-Hop, they can't do anything.
Yeah,
it's with the Panthers, it's either Baker looks okay and McCaffrey's looking like a top 3 back, or you look at like the halftime ticker and they have 90 yards at the half.
Right.
So I'm going with the Panthers. That's a very debatable game. I'm edging the Panthers. But if they end up losing by like 14 because Kyler goes nuts, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm rocking with the Panthers.
Surprisingly, I also took the Panthers. To me, this would be sort of an upset, but it's not really because the records are the same, so it's kind of hard to say it's an upset. But I'm going to take the Panthers. I think they can slow down Kyler. James Conner's not been good. I just don't think the Cardinals are that good. Besides Kyler, they're not a good team. I like some of the Panthers' skill positions. Maybe they let Baker throw the ball a little bit more and maybe actually air it out. Yeah, if he throws an interception, he throws an interception. But I'm going to take the Panthers in a very close game. Let's see. Next up, we've got Patriots at Green Bay.
Mac, I think they said he's going to miss some time. They didn't
he's got a high ankle sprain. He's out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they didn't give an exact timetable, but he's definitely not playing this weekend. Even with him, I'd have still went the Packers. The defense the Packers have been playing this year, outside of deciding not to guard Justin Jefferson, has been really, really good. So you have a great defense versus a Patriots offense that, outside of winning some 50-50 balls versus the Ravens, has been bad. I think they were going to struggle to get to like 14. So yeah, I'm rocking with the Packers.
Okay. I guess piggyback off what you said, without Mac Jones, even with Mac Jones, Green Bay's better. The weapons don't even matter for Aaron Rodgers. He's just that good.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Green Bay by 10 or more. Unless Bill Belichick maybe puts on a Hall of Fame classic, just a master class in coaching, which he hasn't done in a while. That's the only way I could see it being a close game. Aaron Rodgers, I think they're gonna dominate. Moving forward, Let's see. Broncos at Raiders in a game that doesn't matter. A battle of a team that should be 0-3 and a team that is 0-3. Who do you have in this Titanic struggle?
What's nuts is, as bad as the Broncos have looked, if they win and the Chiefs lose, they're winning the division. Like,
It's insane.
And I don't know, because this is obviously like a relatively even matchup.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
I want to say the Raiders just because their back is totally against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And the Broncos defense has been good. The offense has been bad. Yeah, I'm rolling with the Raiders. The Broncos going into the fourth quarter, what was it, like 10-5? That's embarrassing. They're not
It's
good
really
offensively
bad.
at all. So if the Raiders just make a few plays to like Devontae or Waller and just like get up early,
Mm-hmm.
they should win that. I got the Raiders.
Okay. I'm gonna say the Raiders too. I don't like Russell Wilson. I've made it known on this podcast. I'm not a fan of how he is. He seems fake. That doesn't really matter on he hasn't played well on the field, so his off the field doesn't really matter at this point. He hasn't done anything special on the field. I'm gonna take the Raiders in a close one. I think Waller and Adams they need to go off. They need to. Adams said he's frustrated. It's time.
I don't know what happened to Russ, because like his injury last year, it was like a hand injury, but he just maybe he doesn't want to scramble anymore. Although he did it in the fourth when he had to, but
yeah,
that's like a huge part of his game. It's not a part of his game like Lamar or Kyler, but him bootlegging and being mobile it was like 40% of the reason he was good. So he has to get that back. Otherwise, he's like a barely top 10 quarterback.
Yeah. Well, he might not be top 10 even with that at this point. I don't know. His arm's not what it doesn't seem like it's there right now. Let's see. Chiefs at Buccaneers Sunday night. Now this game is subject to be moved somewhere else because of the hurricane. Hopefully everybody's doing okay down there with all that terrible weather.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that game is subject to be moved most likely. I know they evacuated the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
So without knowing where that game is, Chiefs and Buccaneers on paper.
Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago. We have a matchup. It's a great duel. Might be the last time we see it. We have an all-time great quarterback versus the GOAT quarterback. I'll let you decide who is who. I know who is who. Anyways,
most people do.
Yeah, my GOAT boy. But anyways, moving on. The Chiefs offense versus that Bucs defense. That's going to be really, really good to see, because I don't think it's going to go anywhere like the Super Bowl where Mahomes is running for his life. But
he better hope not.
With like how the Chiefs offense hasn't been in the mud, it just hasn't been explosive. But on the flip side, the Bucs offense has been like putrid. What do they have? 3 touchdowns on the year?
Not good.
Offensive touchdowns on the year. So we obviously we want Brady and Mahomes to be an all-time game, but I honestly think it's not going to be as ugly as Bucs Packers, but I have it like a low scoring, like a 17-21 game. I got the Chiefs.
Okay. Watch. I assumed you were taking the Chiefs. Tampa Bay. They're getting Mike Evans back. There's a possibility they get Godwin back. There's a possibility they get a little more healthy coming into the Chiefs game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take them getting healthy to make this really interesting.
Right.
If they are healthy, I'm taking Tampa Bay. If not, it's gonna have to be a defensive classic from Tampa Bay to win this game. I'm gonna stick with Tampa Bay. Should be a good game either way, just because the Tampa Bay defense is so good. They're gonna make Mahomes work. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with what feels like a little bit of an upset, taking Tampa Bay.
Yep, but it's crazy, man. This might be the last time Brady gets to share the field with Mahomes. It's crazy.
Would say that the other way around, but that's how most people view it. Monday night, Rams at 49ers.
Niners haven't impressed me not Niners. The Rams haven't impressed me that much, but I still think they're better than the Niners.
Okay.
That's not a huge slight to the Niners. I'm not a huge Jimmy G slanderer. I think the guy's solid, but I do think the Rams are just better all around. So, well, not
Yeah.
all around, but I do think the Rams are better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take them in like a one-score game.
Yeah, I don't think the Rams have done anything to impress anybody at this point.
Yeah.
The 49ers, they looked bad also against the Broncos. Like, neither team looked good. Obviously, the 49ers didn't look any good either. That Jimmy G running out of the back of the end zone play was getting compared to Dan Orlovsky is not a compliment in any stretch of the imagination when playing the quarterback position. I'm going to go with the Rams also. I think Cooper Kupp is just too much. I don't know. Him by himself is a lot. So I got the Rams winning that game. I think it's going to be close, like a 7 to 10 point game.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, that finishes the football portion of the podcast. It is now time for our NBA preseason extravaganza.
Yeah.
I come at you right away. Who are you taking in the finals, and who is winning the finals for you?
Representing the Eastern Conference will be the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
The Nets, I was just like I'm never a huge believer in them. Cavs, not irrelevant, but they're not coming up the East. The Heat, that's like always like a cute sleeper pick, but nah, there's only so much there's only so far Heat culture can get you.
The Heat
And I feel
culture.
like I'm missing another top. Oh, yeah, the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Turmoil.
with the
They are in
turmoil,
trouble.
and they barely beat the Bucks this past year.
Without Chris Middleton.
Yeah, without Middleton, it went 7. So yeah, I got the Bucks coming out the East.
Okay.
Coming out the West, first time ever, the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi being back, Paul George, they're very deep, and they had a huge upgrade at the point guard position.
This is ugly. This is already ugly. Keep
With
going.
Jonathan, Hildred, Wall, Jr. With Wall as the point guard of the Clippers, alongside with Kawhi, Paul George. The bench is still deep with Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, all them. I have them coming out the West. Now, granted, if the Warriors come out the West, I will not be surprised. But I think it's coming down to those two. The Suns, I think their window's pretty much closed. The Lakers, I know like you're not supposed to count out a healthy LeBron and a healthy Anthony Davis, but it's just something about that roster when I look at it. It's just like
it's stinky. It's pretty bad.
When you have like Lakers Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, we got like Lonnie Walker," like
Lonnie Walker. Spurs great.
That's bad. The Nuggets with Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray back, you never know.
Yeah.
Grizzlies, I still think it's a bit too early.
Grindhouse.
That's like the second tier, like West teams would be like the Pelicans and Mavs. I just don't see it yet. So yeah, I got the Clippers coming out the West, the Bucks coming out the East. Clippers in 6. Paul George gets a ring. Kawhi gets his second. And John Wall gets his first.
Clippers in 6. And who's the Finals MVP of that?
Kawhi Leonard.
I was going to say the level of ridiculousness would have peaked right there. Okay, so in a trip back to reality, which I'm going to bring back to the situation, I've got Warriors winning the West. I've got the Bucks winning the East. I've got the Bucks winning in 6 against the Warriors, and Giannis is crowned again as the Finals MVP. I think if the Bucks were healthy this past season, I think it would have been the same matchup.
Yeah.
So I think this year is what we missed. I think Boston was maybe a year too soon, but now with the coaching situation, I think it's going to be a step back for them. They got a lot of talent still. They got a good roster, but I think the Bucks are just too good at full strength. So Bucks beating the Warriors in 6 is my selection for this. That takes us into who I just talked about, Giannis Antetokounmpo Who are your top 10 players in the NBA right now? I know ESPN put out their list, a highly dissected and talked about list because a lot of people don't end up agreeing with the ESPN list.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your top 10 players starting at number 10?
Honestly, believe it or not, the hardest part was number 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this guy, he's not on a lot of people's top 10 list.
Probably not.
He should be.
Please
Because,
please don't do this.
they sleep.
Oh, my God.
Dame Lillard, I got
Okay.
his number 10 player in the NBA. Coming into last season, I think he was like a consensus top 10 player. But the way because that's coming off that Nugget series 2 years ago, that like 55-point game when they lost wasn't his fault.
When they lost.
Hey man.
Okay, continue.
So I got Lillard at 10.
Okay.
Number 9. I understand he had a shaky finals, but the way people just act like Tatum isn't that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have him. I have Tatum at number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, people actually have him higher and have him as the best center, but number 8, I have Embiid.
Okay. Not bad.
Number 7, I have Luka Doncic. He's a top 10 player.
Feels low, but okay.
I do think the hype is massive for a guy that finally got out the first round. But
he just went to the Western Conference Finals. What do you mean finally?
I'm happy for him. Got out the first round. Congratulations. Yeah, congrats. So yes, he's a top 10 player. I have him at 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6, very interchangeable with number 5, but number 6, I have Kawhi Leonard. Not the defender he used to be, but he's still like a very good defender. In the playoffs, for some reason, he just be going goal for like 29 points per game series, mid-range king, very efficient with defense. Number 5, I honestly should flip-flop these, but Kawhi was hurt the whole year. Number 5, I have KD. Very, very bad series versus the Celtics, but that's still Kevin Durant.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he still gets you like 28 on good efficiency, like 6 boards, 4 or 5 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Steph Curry.
That's at 4?
Yeah, the top, not the top 4. My number 1, he's solid number 1, but like 2, 3, and 4, it was very hard. Number 4, I have Steph Curry.
Okay.
He just went crazy these past playoffs. He showed that he doesn't need Kevin Durant to win a ring, even though he already did in 2015. But some people say the injuries. So number 4, I have Curry. Number 3, I have the King, the GOAT, LeBron James.
Damn, that is high.
Yeah, some people don't have him top 5, but I can't. If LeBron's there and LeBron's healthy, I still have him as a top 3 player.
Okay.
Number 2, probably the highest. I don't think anybody else has him at number 2, Nikola Jokic.
That is very high for Jokic.
Yeah, I think the way he just carries teams. The only thing he doesn't do elite is like switch on to guards. He's top 5 playmaker. He can get you 25 plus points per game on very good efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
The top 5 rebound in the league, barely misses games. And the team he carried to the playoffs this year, if any
was not very good.
Yeah, if any other team were to carry a team like that to the playoffs, there'd be no problem with him winning the MVP. But for some reason, people just like aren't cool with Nikola winning it. Like
they wanted Embiid to win his first one.
Yeah,
though. I mean, it was more of a
outside of Aaron Gordon, which Aaron Gordon being your second option alone is crazy. But like some nights you having to rely on Monty Morris or like Bones Highland.
Bones Highland went to Virginia Commonwealth University, an A10 superstar organization. So watch yourself.
Hey, so for Nikola to like win as much games as the Nuggets won with him doing that, yeah, I have him number 2. Number 1, I don't know why people debated Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, I think Giannis is the consensus number 1 for a majority of people.
Top 5 defender, 27 plus points per game on historic efficiency. 12 plus rebounds, 5, 6 plus assists. I don't know why it's a debate to some people. Well, some people because he doesn't have a bag, but cut it out. Giannis is the best player in the league. Okay. So yeah, that's my top 10.
Just because Dame is not in the top 10 anymore. I don't. That's great. It can be Dame time in the regular season. They're not going to make the playoffs. I don't. Yeah, explain to me how Jeremy Grant's going to help that. Please let me know how that's going to help.
If Dame plays, they make the playoffs. The Blazers are making it.
Oof. Okay, well, I'm willing to side bet on that one because there's no chance. Okay, starting at number 10, I'm going to say I had a hard time with this one. I'm going to say Ja Morant. It seems like it's a little high for him. It was either Ja or Devin Booker. I slid a little bit to Ja. I don't know. I thought it was a close one. I thought it was kind of a toss-up. So I'm going to give Ja the slight edge. I had 9. I had LeBron.
What?
Because of his age and some of his health issues. I don't think he can get to the basket as well. I think he's slowed down just a little bit. Now, the best part about LeBron is his jumper has improved quite a bit. That step back move that only he does, he makes it look, just the awkwardness of his step back is wonderful. But I'm just getting down on the Lakers more and more as it goes along.
It's crazy. This top 8 better be crazy because this is
8. At 8, I have Jason Tatum. I think he's only going to keep getting better. I think the finals was a very bad showing for him. Not to make too many excuses, they said his shoulder was bad. You got to play better. You got to Jaylen Brown to me was their best player in that series. He was the best player in a couple of those series, but I still think Jason Tatum is uber talented. I think he's only getting better. I predict him being right there as the best players in the league. At 7, I have Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is elite when he is on the court. When Kawhi is on the court is kind of a mystery, though, unfortunately. So I have Kawhi at 7. At 6, I have Embiid. He's just a force. There's just nobody else like him physically right now at the center position. 26 and 12 type guy every night. He can step out and hit a 3, hit a jump shot. He can move. His health is what's important to Philly this season. At 5, I have Luka. I think Luka individually is probably one of the most talented players in the league. The problem is it's an individual. He's individually that talented. Dallas has not done a good job of building around him. Dallas is going to have a hard time. I think they could be like a 6 or a 7 seed. I think they could be fighting for a play-in spot this season because that roster. I don't believe in Christian Wood. I think he's a stats guy on a team where you have a guy in Luka Christian Wood's got to play a different role or else it's not going to work out. If Christian Wood's your second best player, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's kind of debatable. It kind of depends.
Yeah, like he's like a good offensive center, but other than that, he don't bring much.
Right. So I don't think Dallas is going to be as good as they were last year. At 4, I had Jokic at 4. His game is complete. He's a little slow-footed on switches with guards, but there's only a handful of guys in the league who can make that switch.
Yeah,
and people will talk about, oh, he can't guard this, he can't guard that. Well, shoot, I mean, there's a handful of guys who can do it effectively.
Yeah, and when you're historically great on offense, you don't have to switch like Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody has that. Just Bam's just a freak of a defensive player.
Yeah.
It's very rare to be able to do it at such a high level like some of those guys. But his passing, his shooting, his rebounding, his court vision's insane. At 3, I have Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant is still the best scorer of the basketball in the league. If he's healthy, I just don't see anybody being able to stop him. Give me 1 second.
All right. Yo. LeBron at 9. Skip Bayless is on his payroll. Actual insanity. Actual insanity. And job of Dame? What? Devin Booker was an honorable mention for 10? Is Devin Booker even better than Paul George? Insanity. Insanity.
I heard a lot of revisionist history while I was away, folks. So I hope Kinsey got in his fun. Game time, who has been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I also said that Paul George was actually like, you had an honorable mention for 10. It was like either Booker. My honorable mention for 10 was honestly Paul George, but 2 Clippers in the top 10. A lot of people might have a problem with that.
Okay. At 2, I had Steph. He's coming off another title,
Yeah.
another Finals MVP. Silence the haters. There were no haters really. He's just great. He's all time.
Yes, very
He'll probably still probably, if you're playing against Steph, you probably want to get him in a switch.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, most great defenders don't get put into switches, but whatever. Yeah, all time great. He's gonna probably end up being the best point guard of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to argue him being second, and then number 1 is the most dominant player in the NBA right now. The hardest player to stop in the NBA right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Very soon he could be the best power forward of all time. His resume is already insane. It's already all time great. Another ring, another Finals MVP, another MVP, and he's knocking on Tim Duncan's door.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy how much he's risen because just 2 years ago, people were saying AD can catch Duncan, and AD was clear Giannis, and now that debate is honestly
not close.
debatable.
It's not even that. I mean, AD is a great player for what he is, but he's not Giannis.
Yeah.
It's a different level to me. AD's fantastic. He's just not Giannis.
Mm-mm.
I don't think. I mean, as maybe in Anthony Davis's MVP year, he was in the top 3 players in the league.
Yeah,
maybe.
Even then, that's still a maybe.
I mean, he was fantastic, but that's been a while. Go back and forth. We're going to draft 3 teams each, and we're going to see who has the best record of the 3 teams we'll pick. We'll come back to this, every couple weeks. I'm going to give you the first pick because you have the crazier takes, so you'll probably take a crazy team here that nobody else would take. So I'm going to give you the first pick.
I would take the NBA champion, Los Angeles Clippers. They had a very good record last year. Well, not very good, but they were missing their best player the whole year, and Paul George missed a lot of time. They still made the playoffs, no play in. But yeah, so I think with the play, whoa, these are the Clippers, man. Like they're very deep. You might want to look at that bench. Their bench is very deep.
I think the Clippers will be very good, but I would have taken a different team first.
So yeah, I think with the big 3 of Kawhi, Paul George, and John Wall, very good big 3. I think that with Ty Lue's coaching and their depth in general, 50 wins is the floor. So yes, I'll take the Clippers.
All right. In response to that, I'm going to take the Bucks.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Best player on the best team. I think the Bucks are going to have a very good season. Last year they weren't great in the regular season, which cost them probably in the playoffs. I think this year they come for that number 1 spot. I think they could be a 60-win team. I'm going to take the Bucks with my first pick. All right, that jumps back to you. Who you got second?
Second, Philly. I'm taking Philly.
Interesting.
I think
James Harden loses a little bit of weight, and you totally jump on the ship.
Yeah, I think with Harden being there the whole year, and Embiid really, really wanting the MVP, so he's going to try his best to stay healthy, even though that's something that's out of his hands. And in general, I think Philly's going to be like a top 3 seed, and another team that's floor is 50 wins. So yeah, I'll take Philly with my second pick.
All right, well, you kind of made it for me then. I'm going to take the Warriors with my next pick.
Damn, that was
so. My 2 finals teams are locked in on my side of the draft. if I was a draft expert, I would say I'm winning this draft pretty easily.
I like right before I said Philly, I was thinking Golden State, but then I was like,
As somebody who
Draymond.
talks about his Steph as much as you do, this has been absurd. It's actually been absurd.
Yeah, because
Steph
I was
not being second on your top 10. You didn't pick the Warriors. People are starting to wonder what's going on here.
hey,
You seem
man.
like a fraud.
In my head, I was like, Draymond's gonna miss time. I don't
Right?
think Clay's gonna play like 70 plus. And Curry, especially because like the year he just had, I think they're gonna say, all right, I think our window is still open. So don't miss like 20 games, but I think they're gonna hold them back a bit, especially like to develop some young talent.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I was like the Warriors big three. I don't think they're gonna play like a lot of games. So I was like, and Harden doesn't miss a lot of games. So I was like, all right, let me just say Philly. But I was
Harden also doesn't try in a lot of games, so it's the
hey,
same
hey,
as
he
missing a game.
bounce back year. He lost 100 pounds. I know you said a report, 100 pounds.
Congrats on not eating everything in sight, James Harden.
Yeah, but now, damn, I don't know who my third pick was. I was not expecting you to take Golden State. Third pick, I was on crack. I was about to say the Lakers. Third pick,
This man is losing it.
Nuggets. I'll take the Nuggets.
Okay.
They're usually around 50 wins, and that was without their second and third best player. Jokic is going to give me 70 plus games. Murray should definitely be back to start this season. I don't know about MPJ, but even without that, I think they're going to hover between like 47 and like 54 wins. So yeah, give me the Nuggets.
All right, because I don't think you took great teams like I did, I can pick a wild card to make it fun for myself. So I'm going to take the Cavs as my third team.
For 44 wins, I can see that. 44.
Yeah, 44 plus 6.
Whoa.
Cavs. Hey, I believe. I believe.
The Wolves also would have been a good pick, I guess.
Yeah,
Eh.
as a Rudy Gobert guy, you should have locked him in. All right. So let's see. Let's run it down again. Kenzie took the Clippers, Philly, the Nuggets. I took the Bucks, Warriors, and Cavs. We're going to touch on this probably every 2 weeks, bring it back, see how the records are, see where that shakes out. Do our awards preview. Who is going to be your MVP?
It's about time he got it. I don't think he's been robbed the past 2 years, but going with Embiid.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Outside of him missing like 20 plus games and Philly not being a top 3 seed, I don't see how he doesn't get it because we know he's going to give us like 27 and 12 with like 2 blocks. So with that, in addition to the narrative, in addition to them being a top 3 seed, I think Embiid finally gets his MVP.
All right. Because I think the Bucks are going to come out and play well and be the number 1 seed, I'm going to give Giannis the MVP. Best player, best team. Just another resume building award for him. I think it's going to be hard to not give it to him if he's healthy and plays the whole year and dominates.
Right.
As much as I'd like to see Embiid get one, Jokic and Giannis are not going away, and so I'm gonna stick with Giannis on that one. That takes us to Defensive Player of the Year.
I'm going with, even though like he's probably in the leading on like every betting site, Rudy Gobert. I think the Timberwolves.
The Frenchman.
Yeah, the Timberwolves defensively, especially in the playoffs, those issues were glaring.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Gobert goes there and he makes like a top 5 unit, I think they're gonna he's gonna be credited a lot for the turnaround. And so yeah, I'm just going rocking out with Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. This will be his 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm rocking with Gobert.
I'm going to take a dark horse. I'm going to take Evan Mobley for Defensive Player of the Year.
Ooh, skill.
He is already one of the best defensive players in the league. Now that he's not a rookie, things are going to be even more on his shoulders. If he's healthy, if he can play the whole year, I think it's going to be a sight to see him on defense. I really look forward to him playing. So I'm going to give Evan Mobley a shout out, and I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. That takes us to Rookie of the Year. Who's your Rookie of the Year?
Chet is injured, so can't go there.
Yep.
I'll be damned if I pick an Orlando Magic player to win that award.
Hater alert.
Yes, Magic is just anti-Magic podcast. So I think the Rockets are just going to get out and run a lot. So I'm rocking with Jabari Smith. I think it's going to be a lot of high games. I think those youngins are just going to be out there jacking, having fun, and scoring a lot of points. So yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take Detroit Pistons guard Jaden Ivey. I like the way he plays. He reminds me of a little bit of Donovan Mitchell type player. He's a bucket. I think he's going to need to score the ball for the Pistons to take a little bit of a leap. I'm going to give Jaden Ivey the nod on this one.
Right.
Let's see.
Dark horse.
Yep, let's hear it.
If my 10-day goes through with the never mind. Where are you about to go to?
10-day contract. This guy barely gets picked up in a church league, and he's talking about a 10-day contract in the NBA.
Bucket.
Not what the film said. The film did not lie. Comeback Player of the Year. I mean I know who you're gonna say, but say it for the camera.
John Wall. Listen, y'all. Listen. Y'all do know his last year in Houston was 21-7. Why are we acting like John Wall is Cavs DeRon Williams? He's still a very serviceable player. So when the Clippers are a top 3 seed and Wall is averaging like 18-8, I don't want to hear, oh, Wall is... No, he never left. Y'all would just front. John Wall. Stop playing, man. Fringe All-Star. John Wall.
Crickets. Just crickets, you know. I'm going to take Jamal Murray because he actually makes sense as a bounce back player. He's better than John Wall. Jamal Murray. I think Denver needed Jamal Murray last year. He's going to come back and provide what they needed. They were definitely lacking Jamal Murray. So I look forward to him getting back, getting 20 plus points a game, getting those 5 to 6 assists, and I just think he's a good player. I think he provides a lot for that roster. So I'm going to take Jamal Murray as my comeback player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next is going to be, for some fun here, an all-time NBA starting 5. Who would you start at your all-NBA all-time point guard position?
I'll be taking Stephen Curry.
Okay.
You could argue he's the greatest offensive weapon in history.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how you don't take him. So yeah, like. Yeah, very much cheating.
I'm just going to stick with my Magic for my point.
Right.
Okay. Who are you taking at the 2?
I'll take Kobe. I think he's the greatest difficult shot maker in the history of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And if for some reason Curry can't get a shot off, throw it to Kobe, clear out. If there's 6 seconds on the clock or even 4, he'll get you a bucket.
Okay. I'm going to take Michael Jordan. I'm going to take the guy that Kobe copied his game off of, model his game off of, the better version of Kobe, the less bad shots version of Kobe.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly. There's plenty of video out there for anybody to go watch. I'm going to take Michael Jeffrey Jordan at my 2 position. Okay, at small forward, who's it going to be?
Now, logic says LeBron, but that's your hometown guy, so I'm gonna switch it to Kawhi. Phenomenal
Kawhi.
phenomenal 2-way player. I think with him and Kobe locking up on the wings, both mid-range assassins. So yeah, I'll take Kawhi. And if for some reason, unless the other team is big, Kawhi could switch on the Steph's matchup. So yeah, I'll take Kawhi.
Then I'm going to take LeBron all time. LeBron versus Kawhi is always entertaining matchup. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to take LeBron at the 3. The person I think who's the best player of all time. Him and Michael are duking it out. Who is going to be your starting 4?
Now, since my 2 and 3 are so great on defense, I'm going back offense for number 4. I think for Dirk, I'm going with Dirk.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Curry and Dirk pick and pop, honestly outrageous. So yeah, I'm rocking with Dirk at the 4 to get some extra floor spacing, so you can't just watch Curry for threes. Now you have to worry about somebody else.
Okay, in response to that move, I'm going to take Larry Bird at my 4. You think you have to worry about spacing? Well, Larry Bird can do just as much as Dirk can do, and if anything, he might be a little bit better going to the basket. So I'm going to take Larry Bird to match up with Dirk. And who is your 5 man?
Rocking with Hakeem.
Okay.
If I have Kobe and Claw on the perimeter playing defense, you need a very, very good interior presence as well. And since Dirk isn't really going to be on the block punishing, gotta get somebody down there. Hakeem.
Mm-hmm. All right. In response to that, I have to take Shaq just to match up physically.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're not getting anything extra down at the basket. I'm going to take Shaq at my 5. So let's see. The matchups go. Steph at the 1. I got Magic. You got Kobe. I got MJ. You got Kawhi. I got LeBron. You got Dirk. I took Larry Bird. You took Hakeem at your 5, and I took Shaq at my 5. I think that would be quite a series if that ever came through. Looks like we might have to settle that on 2K at some point.
Oh, boy, let me tell you about this guy. He's a cheater in 2K. Everything goes his way. He gets all the foul calls.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It's interesting to hear that from somebody who is a known cheese artist by an entire community of people. It's not just me. Everybody knows this guy's a cheese master. I got cheesed earlier playing against him in Madden.
I'm the most fair and honest Madden in 2K.
I've never seen 2 quarters just completely not even matter, and this guy just have everything go his way for 2 quarters.
Great coaching.
Okay, so there's our all-time teams. Who is your team of the season for the NBA?
Surprise team is the Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah. Now, they barely missed the playoffs last year, and I watched a lot of Knicks games. At least 15 to 20 games, they were up like 10, 15 plus, and they just blew it. And people are going to meme them for the offseason they had. Oh, why would you pay Jalen that? Or why didn't you trade for Mitchell and all that? But I still think their roster is good. They just couldn't close games last year. So I'm not claiming they'll be like a top 4 seed like they were 2 years ago, but I definitely have them in the play-in, debatable playoffs. So yeah, I have the Knicks. The Garden will be back popping again. Best defensive chant in the league.
You know what's crazy is they have the best defensive chant in the league and they don't play very good defense.
Tom will fix that this year.
You said he's been their coach for 2 years now and he hasn't fixed it.
He will fix it.
They had an outlier season and now I'm going to take the Detroit Pistons as my surprise team. I think they're going to be better than people think. I really like the roster that they've assembled with I like Cunningham. I like Jaden Ivey. I think Stewart is good. He's such a hothead that it's hard to really like, is this guy good or is he just kind of crazy?
Yeah.
So I really think the Pistons have a chance at turning around the season, and I think they could be competitive with a lot of teams. The trade for Bojan Bogdanovic is a really nice addition for a young team. I like Sadiq Bey. Jalen Durant from Memphis is a nice player down in the post. I think they have some players that are good. If they can come together, I think they could be, a 35 to 40 win team, which is a massive turnaround for Detroit. So I don't think they're, I think they could maybe be a play-in team. I don't think you got to think the 10th seed is the play-in team.
I know we didn't do our standings yet, but then again, it's not like I had the Wizards at 10th. They're going to be higher. Never mind.
Why? What do the Wizards have that even makes them appealing? But Bradley Beal, what makes them appealing? I don't get it.
We have a All NBA player.
He's not an
All-star
All NBA player anymore. Who's the All Star?
KP's the All-Star, Bill's the All NBA, and Kuzma is the fringe All-Star. I knew I should have picked the Wizards, but I didn't think people would actually sleep on them. I guess people are.
Who is Kristaps Porzingis making the All-Star game over?
Now that I'll have to, do my calculations about.
Who is Bradley Beal making All NBA over?
Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Kyrie. Honestly, quite a few people.
Okay, well that is making me physically ill, unfortunately. Kuzma is not making an All-Star team. He's not a fringe All-Star. He's a fringe. No, I just can't. I can't get behind that. I just really can't. Bradley Beal could be an All-Star. That's as high as they'll go. He's not going to make third team NBA this year. No chance. Absolutely no chance. No, there's no way. You guys aren't a playoff team.
Insanity.
No.
Wizards.
There's nobody walking through those doors that's going to make you a playoff team.
It's going to be beautiful when the Wizards shock the world.
I can't wait until they shock you and are picking the lottery again. Maybe you guys can get a generational talent for a change in the lottery instead of drafting Denny Advia or whoever the hell you guys draft and waste your pick on. All right. Time of the podcast. It's time to play Would You Rather. Did you come up with a Would You Rather for us this week?
Yes, and honestly, both will probably lead to death. But
okay, great.
One might be a bit more survivable. Now, would you rather, like, you're just transported into these worlds, like you go to sleep tonight and you wake up and you're like in these worlds. Would you rather live in the world of The Quiet Place?
Shit.
Or Bird Box?
I'm gonna say now. Do I know that I have to be quiet?
Yeah.
Like, do I know I can't look up? And like, do I know I can't? Like, do I know what I can't and can't do?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say The Quiet Place because I'd rather not be blindfolded, or I feel like eventually I'd like be able to be quiet enough to move around. I just think losing, like, not being able to like look, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think being quieter would be easier, but I also have it's tough.
Yeah, that's what I went with too, because like in Bird Box, not only the only time you can't not look outside is like when you're in the house, but I think that guy, he was watching film and he got like, that's insane.
Yeah,
and
that's nuts.
Having to navigate to the store in a blindfold, having to go down a river in a blindfold. Granted, The Quiet Place would be tough because like literally any sound, like if I drop my phone, they might run into my house. But
but you can also but you also have a chance to like fortify your house and like soundproof things, like how they did in the second movie, like they started making and living in places that didn't have, you could make some more noise. Man, those are two hard choices. I like them both. I'm gonna stick with Quiet Place because I think it's easier to be quiet.
Even though like those giant monsters are deadly, but
they're terrifying.
With the Bird Box, you don't even know. It's like you look and then you just mind wiped, gone.
Exactly, and I don't like. I'm against being mind wiped, So I know that's a good one. I really like that. Would you rather this week, Kenzie? That is going to put a close on our mega episode. How did you think it went?
Honestly, it went good. The NFL talk is the NFL talk, but we know
Your basketball is
the thing we always argue the most about is the NBA.
Like if this is the level of like the line of pushing it, you are like just beating the hell out of that line with some of these.
Honestly, I think I was pretty tame, man. It's a good thing we didn't get into like the Wall and Magic bag. Woo!
Well, see, here's the thing: if only one person says John Wall is better than Magic Johnson, you just kind of take it as delusion and you don't ever respond to it.
I didn't exactly said that.
So tell you know what, this is how we'll close it. Tell us why John Wall is in the conversation. Just tell us. Go ahead. Tell us why.
Now, I did not say Wall was better than Magic. Obviously, that's absurd. I said, like, if you're just looking at it, like, bullet point wise, scoring, very debatable. Especially playoff wise. Playoff Walls gives you like upwards of 27 points per game. So I said both at their scoring peak. Obviously, like Magic has his 40-point playoff games in the finals, but scoring wise, the gap isn't that big. Defense, Wall. Magic's a good defender outside of 2K. No, Magic was never talked about for his defense, while Wall has made an All NBA defensive team. He's the best shot blocking point guard in NBA history. And what is Magic? A point guard. Wall has also led the league in steals before. So defense goes to Jonathan.
Okay.
Playmaking, I know what people are going to say. It's Magic Johnson. He's the best passer ever. Don't sleep on Wall. That's all I'm going to say. Playmaking wise, it's a lot closer than people will tell you. So if you have scoring debatable, playmaking semi-debatable, Wall's the better defender. If you gave Wall, Kareem, and James Worthy in them, you don't think the Lakers rattle off 5 rings too? Come on.
You had Marcin Gortat. What more did you want?
Let's be for real for a second. So yes, obviously Wall isn't better than Magic Johnson, but player for player, like straight up player for player, not a huge gap. That's just me though. That's just me.
And that is going to end the podcast for obvious reasons. The John Wall fanaticism is just through the roof right now. Him being on the Clippers has only made it worse. Now he gets to play with 2 very good players. Kenzie, we are going to wrap it up.
Yep.
I had a good time. Next week we're back with episode 4. Let's have another good time, and maybe next week we bring you guys a guest.
Yeah, and I don't think we did it at the start, but yeah, you could follow me everywhere.
Social media, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit all of our links. You know our links by now. We'll have them in the chat, in the videos. Thank you guys very much. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your week.